NASA is delaying the launch of its SpaceX Crew 9 mission to buy some more time to return the Boeing Starliner to Earth. More than 2 months in space now, the two-person crew of the Starliner spacecraft, veteran NASA astronauts Suni Williams and Butch Wilmore, arrived at the International Space Station on June 5th. They were supposed to return June 12th, but their return has been delayed indefinitely due to some mechanical issues with the craft. So today marks 9 weeks that the pair have been up there. Some saying these two astronauts are effectively stranded in space. NASA not saying that. There are only 2 docking ports at the ISS that can accommodate U.S. astronaut capsules, and right now both are occupied. The space agency is expected to release more details at a news conference today. Joining me to talk more about it, Dr. Leroy Chiao, a former NASA astronaut and former International Space Station commander. Welcome back. Nice to see you. Are we getting into I know NASA wouldn't say this, but are we worrying at all about their return 9 weeks in?
I don't think we're worrying about it. We are all wondering when it's going to happen and what vehicle they're going to come back on. As you pointed out, Starliner had a good liftoff, looked all good, had some minor helium leaks when they launched, but then on approach to station had its problem with the thrusters. And so NASA and Boeing have been working hard to try to understand primarily that thruster problem and what the root cause is, and what to do about returning Butch and Suni from the ISS. And so they went through a series of delays, and it looked like about a couple of weeks ago they announced that they had conducted extensive tests, primarily on the ground but also in space, and they thought they had a good handle on what happened and what to do about it. But then just last week came the statement that they do not yet have a root cause for those issues. And so without a root cause, how can you justify bringing the crew back down on that vehicle? And so a lot of things have been happening. There's been talk about perhaps bring them down on a SpaceX vehicle, perhaps the Crew 9 launch, which is being delayed because of the unavailability of the docking port. Would it be a plan to maybe only send 2 of the Crew 9 up right now and use the extra 2 seats to bring back Suni and Butch? So a lot of things being talked about right now, and everything is pretty much up in the air while the options are being studied.
And as they look at that, I mean, is there a time frame where they go, okay, let's not bring them back on this, let's bring them back on something else? I mean, are we getting to that point, or how long are they able to stay up there and wait?
I don't think we're at that point yet. I think the desire would be to bring them down on the Starliner. That would not not disrupt the crew rotation. Primarily, Crew 9 coming up is already being delayed. But the issue is we can't bring them down until we really understand what happened on the way up, and specifically the approach to the station. Why did those thrusters fail, and why wouldn't more fail on the way down? And so we really need to understand and get comfortable with what happened and what we can do about it before we put the astronauts back in the Starliner. There will have to be some kind of decision date coming, but that, as you pointed out, has not been announced. They're still holding to that indefinite timeline. So the crew is in no danger. They can stay on board the station, continue to contribute as long as needed. But at some point, you've got to fish or cut bait, and so hopefully that'll happen sooner rather than later.
They're astronauts like you. They like being in space, but what does this do to their mental state? They didn't plan on being there that long.
That's true. Nobody likes uncertainty. That's the thing human beings hate the most. And right now, their uncertainty is, hey, when are we going to come home? We've got other things. As you pointed out, we weren't planning to fly a long-duration flight, and this is turning into a long-duration flight. We're 2 months into it, and long-duration flights are usually planned for, somewhere in the 5 to 6 month range. So they're not getting close to that, but they're starting to wonder, hey, what's going on with our vehicle, and what kind of contingencies are being looked at, and when are we going to get a decision? So they've got to be wondering that, but at the same time, as you pointed out, astronauts do like being in space, and so they're both the consummate professionals. They've both flown long duration missions, so this is no strange deal to them. But I'm sure the uncertainty is in the back of their minds.
Yeah, that would get to anyone. Starting to miss home, 2 feet on Earth, and missing your friends and your family when you hadn't planned on it. Dr. Chiao, thank you so much for joining us as always. I learn a little bit every time we talk. Much appreciated. excited. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.